Hello. Hope that you are doing fantastic today. I also hope that, my mic is working on this video because it wasn't working last week, but everything seems to be working in order. So, yeah, hope that you all are doing well. I know that I've had personally a little bit of a week. Just, life is getting progressively difficult and we're trying to adjust. But, I'm staying on top of everything else I have to do, keeping that discipline that I always keep talking so much about, going to the gym, doing everything to maintain a healthy lifestyle. But anyway, if you are a returning viewer, welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, my name is McKenna. I own a digital media company called Studio SB Creatives. And yeah, so we're just going to get right into it today. Um, no tips or tricks or anything, but it is going to be a day of some hard truths that I feel need to be discussed. In previous videos over the last couple weeks, you've heard me talk about the importance of discipline and consistency, the importance of perseverance, and all these different character traits which you need to instill within yourself to reach success. But the one thing that I always talk about in the background but have not yet made a video on discussing it itself is the importance of maintaining a positive mindset. Why is it important to maintain a positive mindset? I mean, personally, I feel like that should be self explanatory. But the reason that it's important is because your mentality is basically in control of everything you do. And if you don't maintain a positive mindset, your mentality is going to make you a loser. And I don't mean that in terms of just the game of life. By not having a positive mindset, by having a negative mindset, it's going to taint your view of the world. You're going to look at certain people a certain type of way. You're going to look at your environment a certain type of way. You are just going to look at the world around you in such a different way. Your mindset is just basic. It's like a muscle in your brain. It needs to be worked out. It needs to be developed. Like a couple years ago, I did not have the mindset that I have today. I mean, just a couple years ago, I used to think about a certain class of people a certain type of way. And as I got older and I started developing my mindset, I realized that I didn't dislike this class of people. I just didn't understand them. And before you get ahead of me or before this becomes a political thing, I'm just talking about wealthy people in general. Like I used to be the eat the rich type, like, there should like billionaires shouldn't exist, this whole thing. And while I'll never defend anybody who's, mega rich for any reason, usually, I realize now why, people who own companies, people who are in positions of like higher positions in companies make a lot more money. And, it's a risk thing, but that's not what we're talking about here. What we're trying to discuss is mindset. And when you have a negative mindset towards, people or towards things or your environment or whatever, everything gets so blown out of proportion. And not only do you probably just not understand what's going on, you probably won't even open your mind to the possibility of learning. And I feel like that's where a lot of the issues start to come in. Like, I was reading my book, there was a part that I just read that talked about how the actions of what you do, did 2 years ago put you where you are now, and the actions that you do now will put you where you are 2 years from now. Your actions right now are controlling your future. And when you allow negative feelings to influence you right now and you make decisions based upon those feelings, it's just going to push you back even further in your future. Like you need to be thinking about your future self. You need to be thinking consciously about the decisions that you're making right now if you want to have a better tomorrow than you had today. Like I was just having this conversation with my mother, and I was talking to her about how I'm stressed out, about how all these things are going, and how I feel like I'm the only one dealing with my kind of problems at my age. And she mentioned to me, she made a point that she's like, She's like, McKenna, I know that you're stressed out, but you're stressed out because you think about the future. You think about how what you do today is going to affect you tomorrow, whereas everybody your age is only thinking about what they want today. They're only making decisions in the now for the now. That's why you feel like you're on a different plane. And I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense. I hear people my age, talk about how they don't have any money, they don't have this or that, or they don't think they'll be able to buy a house or whatever it may be. Like they go out and you're like, didn't you just say that you had like no money? Like, why are you going out? Oh, I don't know. I get paid. Like I shouldn't have to stop having fun. Whatever it is, they always have an excuse, and then they stay in the same place that they've been in for like the last year or two, and they don't save their money. They don't do this. They don't do anything now that sets them up for the future down the road. And then they complain about how it's everybody else's fault, how it's the world's fault. And I am absolutely not saying the world is not a cruel, messed up place that doesn't ever affect anybody's life. I'm not saying that. I mean, I have blamed the world on many occasions, but only when I felt it was warranted. Because even though I'm personally kind of mad at the world right now for the position that I'm in, it always comes back around to the fact that I know I am somewhat to blame. I blame the world for the first 5 minutes, and then after a little reflection, I'm start thinking about, did I try hard enough? Have I done all that I can do? Have I exhausted all my options? I start doing this introspective self-reflection type thing because I know that I'm just projecting onto the world. Obviously, I would never project my issues onto any one person, because aside from myself, because I know that at the end of the day, I am fully in control of my actions and the things that I think and the things that I do, and nobody else is responsible for those. And there are certain times, very rare occasions, where people do influence your actions or do back you into a corner where you only have so many options. When I speak about mindset and I speak about the decisions that you need to make or that you should make, I'm talking about the other 90% of the time when you need to man up and pilot your own life and be the captain of your own ship and do the things that you need to do to ensure that you have a better future. Because like I've said, nobody else in the world, is going to be there for you like you are. And you need to be there for you. Otherwise, you're just going to get caught in this vicious cycle where you're constantly chasing your own tail, chasing your highs and blaming everything else for the lows in your life, whether it be a person, an event, whatever it may be. I was thinking about this in the car the other day too, where they say that the only way to truly fail is to stop trying. And I personally think that every single person in the world is capable of success. However, I feel like when it comes to failure, it's not that people failed or gave up as much as it is that they just didn't want what they thought they wanted bad enough in the first place. We've probably all been in a situation or seen somebody in a situation who said they wanted to do something and or had this dream or this big aspiration, and then they quit at the first sign of adversity. It's like, if you really wanted it that bad, you would not have given up that easily. You would not have quit after one bad negative thing happened. But some people do. Some people give up the first day when they don't see results. They give up the first week, the first month, the first year. And that all comes back to your mindset. It is the powerhouse behind it all. If you don't have a positive mindset, if you don't have a positive outlook, if you don't have the positive belief in yourself or that the universe will deliver, you're going to be stuck. You are absolutely 100% going to be stuck. And if you don't get yourself out of it, you are just going to keep getting stuck. Things are going to get better, and then they are going to get worse. You will have not developed any new skills. You will not have developed a new outlook. You will not be able to look at things objectively like you should be able to. You will just keep going through this emotional cycle of goods and bads, but never actually getting off the hamster wheel, never getting out of the matrix. whatever you call it. I cannot stand most of these social media gurus. I am not a guru by any means. I am a dude with a camera who reads some books and just talks about his ideas. Whether you choose to agree with those ideas is solely up to you. I am not an advisor of any sort. I'm just a dude trying to build a successful life. And I am documenting it day by day, hoping that maybe somebody who needs to see it sees it, and hoping that, it helps somebody in some way. But anyway, life is going to be hard, and everybody is already a product of their environment. Whether you grew up rich, whether you grew up poor, whether you grew up in the city or in rural America, these certain ideas have been instilled within you since you were a very young person. And it is your responsibility to really think about whether what you believe is what you believe or whether it's what you were told to believe. Because I know for a long time when I was, the eat the rich type, the pay their taxes down with the billionaires, which I still partially believe. But when I was that person, I thought that I believed it, but I was just regurgitating everything that I heard, from the people around me. And I realized for a long time that I was not thinking my own thoughts. When you start doing your own research, when you start thinking your own thoughts, when you start building up a stronger mindset about the things that you do believe in, there's more confidence. You feel more confident in yourself and in the world around you and in your ability to make decisions and do things that put you in places that you want to be in. I know that I have rambled and kind of bounced around to a lot of different ideas, but if you take away anything from today at all, please, please, please let it be that the way you think about the people around you and the world around you is going to influence the decisions that you make and will influence the life that you have in the future. So with that being said, that's where I'm going to leave you today. I finally have some fun things to do that does not involve me sitting in front of this damn camera and saying, and just talking. So hopefully next week I will have a different type of video. Oh, I'm so excited. But, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, if you found this video helpful or you just kind of liked what it was talking about, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to discuss any of the ideas in here, if you disagree with me, if you agree with me, if you just want to have a conversation, go ahead and leave me a comment. And if you want to see more content like this, or you want to see what other things I might get up to in the future, go ahead and subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you on the next one.